Hey. So yesterday I did as I promised. I went back to the ride and then went to Epcot. But the thought of the corpse scared my sister away from revisiting the mansion, and rightfully so. For some reason, though, I still went. Being in Disney gave me a safe feeling. I used my Fast Pass, meaning I got to skip the standby line. Once again, I went through the sequence. Always my way. Blackout, scream, hanging corpse. This time, the woman wasn't there. It was back to being the same man it had always been. So after the ride, I looked around for Harold. Eventually, I found him just outside the exit. I told him about how the woman was missing, but he had no clue what I was talking about. No matter what I said, he kind of just gave me a confused glare. But you see, Harold clearly wasn't a good actor. I could tell his confusion wasn't real. I later went to Epcot with a plan in mind. I had no clue if it would even get me anywhere, but it did. Once I got to the park, I went over to the security and guest relations building. I told them that I think I lost my friend. Immediately, as Disney should be, they were on it. I told them it had been over 2 days and that she hadn't responded to any calls or texts. I said the last time I saw her, she was wearing a red Epcot t-shirt. Upon saying this, a listening security worker walked closer. I went on saying that she was white with long brown hair. The security worker again moved closer and turned to me. "Where in the park was the last time you saw her?" he asked. I told him I couldn't remember. While talking to them, I thought, why did I go to Epcot and not just Magic Kingdom's guest relations? I guess the t-shirt just gave me the instinct to go there. But this was Disney World. People were wearing Animal Kingdom shirts while in Hollywood Studios. I realized my dumb decision, and was about to fake that I got a text from her and head over to the Magic Kingdom. But right before I was going to say something, the security guy spoke. He asked, "Did you say her jeans were ripped, or just regular jeans?" I responded, regular, but then I realized I had never mentioned the jeans. Creeped out, I told him I was getting a phone call and would be right back. Instead, I went back to the resort we were staying at. I sat in my bed on my laptop for a while, trying to find anything about the woman. I came across something called the DSP, or Disneyland Suicide Pact. Look it up if you haven't heard of it. It's whack. The thing is, though, it's called the Disneyland Suicide Pact, not Disney World Suicide Pact. After researching for hours, I found myself deep into a forum about deaths on Disney property. Sure enough, I found something dubbed DWSP, Disney World Suicide Pact. Reading through all the detailed accounts for suicides and even homicides made me sick. Disney is known to be the happiest place on Earth, which I always believed to be true. It wasn't possible for people to die here. Was it? Logically, of course, someone could die here, but the thought of it was still very strange. Today I decided to go back to the Magic Kingdom and try to get Harold to spill. Once again, he was working near the exit of the Haunted Mansion. I lectured him about what I found out about the DWSP, and how his act wasn't going to fool me. After no response for a good minute, he finally spoke up. Firstly, he shot his eyes behind me, trying to get me to look somewhere. I turned around and saw he was looking at a security camera. I turned back and nodded. He then spoke to me in a very odd way, but I could tell he was trying to tell me a message. He said, "Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. I will let you know if we find your lost jacket. Meanwhile, here is a no-strings-attached Pinocchio pass, which allows you and your family to skip any ride in the park, but you can only use it once. May I recommend It's a Small World? It's a classic. I'm from Morocco, and it's rare to see my country represented at theme parks, so that's why I love that ride." Harold was clearly not from Morocco. In fact, his name tag said he was from Louisiana. I once again nodded my head and went to It's a Small World. Any Disney veteran knows not to waste one of these rare, no-strings-attached tickets on It's a Small World, but I knew he was trying to show me something. I went on the ride and patiently waited for the part where you're in Morocco. For those of you who haven't been on the ride, it's basically a bunch of dolls singing the same tune over and over again while you ride through different countries around the world. It's considered a classic, but clearly intended for kids. Once I finally got to the Morocco section, I noticed something though. There was something behind one of the buildings. It was hard to make out, but it cast a shadow against the wall behind it. I could see the outline of someone hunched over with their hand hanging over their knee. I almost threw up as I connected the dots in my mind. I was in the same room as a corpse. Again. To clear my mind, I checked YouTube videos of the ride POV, but no shadow. All the videos showed nothing even near the area where I was looking. I felt sick again, realizing the confirmation. After the ride, I went back to find Harold, but couldn't. Now I was completely lost, with no more clues to follow. I wanted to report what I saw, but I figured Disney would just cover it up again, just like the woman in the haunted mansion. I was onto something interesting, and I didn't want to ignore it. Any normal person would get the fuck out of here, but I feel I would be mad at myself if I never found out more. I needed closure. For a while, I was trying to find out more on my phone while sitting down in the Straight Cafe in Tomorrowland. I posted onto the DSP and DWSP forum my finding at It's a Small World. Many other people on the forum were currently in the parks, too. I got replies of pictures of the same thing I saw, and people saying they saw it too. But then, after an hour or two, a video came through that showed the same location with nothing there. In the video, he zoomed into the area where the shadow was, but it was just a blank wall. Then he panned the camera to his watch, showing the time and day to prove this was right now. This made me realize Disney was seeing these posts, and what's more, acting upon them. After browsing for a little while now, a new post came in with someone saying to check out the Carousel of Progress. So that's where I'm headed to next. I'll update again either later today or tomorrow.